Welcome back to Steveisms with Steven. I'm Steve. Today we are going to take a look into the paranormal. Look, I know it's weird, but have you ever had a paranormal experience? If so, leave a comment down below with a little bit of your story. I'd love to hear it. But listen, we've all had experiences where we hear bumps in the night, or the foundation settling on a 200-year-old house, or maybe voices that we swore we heard whispering our name that wasn't really there. What if there's something more to that? Today we're going to talk about that and a lot more on this episode of Steveisms with Steven. So I used to live in a little yellow house with a green roof, and it was just myself and my wife. This is way back before we had kids. It was in the early 2000s, and I had three very distinct paranormal experiences in this house. My wife only found out about them after we moved out because I was a little lazy, and I knew that if I told her about it early, then she'd want to move out, and I didn't want to move. I didn't want to, spend the energy and the time and the money to move. So I didn't tell her about them until we moved out. But the first one, we were doing laundry. Now, the upstairs of this house, there was just a regular upstairs, and there was a downstairs that was basement, and there was like these wooden stairs, and then it was almost like somebody took a big block of cement and just carved it. I think it had like a dirt floor. It was an unfinished basement for sure. All that was down there was basically these rock walls and a washer and dryer, and the dryer always ran super hot. And I'm talking like it was probably a fire hazard hot, right? I would do the laundry, so I would carry it down there, and it was for being an unfinished basement, it was actually decently clean. Like, there wasn't a lot of mice or anything gross like that. There was no bugs. I went to go down one day, and I started the laundry, and I moved it over to the dryer, and I turned around, and as I'm walking back to the steps, I feel this chill down my spine. You ever feel that? Like, it almost feels like a ghost is passing through you. It's that whole body chill. And I kind of freeze, and I just felt like I was being watched. And so I slowly turned around, and ceiling to floor, all the way back to the washer, which was probably 10 or 15 feet away, the washer and dryer, were cobwebs everywhere and spiders. And I freaked the freak out. I ran up the stairs, and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what, I don't know what was going on in my head. I run up the stairs, I grab this broom, and I run back down the stairs, and I'm like ready to just go swipe all these cobwebs away, because I knew if my wife saw a single spider, we'd be moving also. When I come back downstairs, there's nothing there. Nothing. And the dryer was done. Now, I had just started this load. So it's almost like it took me 45 minutes to go upstairs, grab this broom, run back downstairs. Because the timer went off on the dryer, I went to feel, and all the clothes were hot. They were done. So that was the first creepy experience, and I still to this day no idea what happened there. Now, the second one, you might think this one it seems a little more dangerous, but it almost feels like poltergeisty, like there was some spirit that was just messing with me. We had a fan, one of those old box fans in the corner, and I don't think that we had central air, but it was warm in our room, so we always ran this little box fan. And in the middle of the night, I heard a pop, and I smelled the smell of circuitry. So if you've ever smelled that, the electric fire smell is scary as hell. So I jump up and I look, and I can see that apparently there's been a spark. So I pull the plug out of the wall, and it like melted. If you've ever seen that, it's scary. It's weird. It's like, and it stinks really bad. So I take this whole thing, and my wife and I, by the way, were working opposite shifts. So I was working second shift. She was working third shift. So she wasn't home. I was just falling asleep. So I grab the fan, I go to put it out by the back, and I thought, well, I don't know what's going on with that electrical outlet, but I'll deal with it in the morning, because it was the middle of the night. And so I woke up, forgot about the fan, I went to work, and when I come back home, I noticed that there was a fan there, what I thought was a new box fan. And so I asked my wife, I said, hey, did you buy a new box fan? What happened? And I went out to the back of the house where I had put the fan out by the garbages, and it was gone. And I looked, and the fan was the same fan that had blown out, I don't know if it was blown a fuse or what had happened. An electrical fire happened.
Electrical fire.
But it was like it never happened. So, I'm thinking I'm starting to lose my mind. And so I have a friend who's into tarot cards and things like that. And so he comes over and he's like, I told him a little bit about what's been going on. He goes,
Well, have you told Allie? Have you told your wife?
and I said, no. This, she would want to move, and I don't want to move yet. This is creepy, but I think there's something more here. And he goes,
Okay. So, is there any room in this house that you really haven't seen any paranormal or weird stuff?
I said, well, most of the rooms, but there is a room we never go in. And that was true. So right off the living room, there was this side bedroom that we basically used for storage. When we moved in, we put all the extra boxes, all that stuff in this room. On the wall, I had this guardian angel plaque-like thing that my mother had given me, and I still have it, actually. I wish I would have had it with me. I'd show you. But there was this guardian angel plaque, and it was up on the wall, and he brought a candle, and he goes,
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little assisted meditation with you, and I want you to just close your eyes and focus and relax.
and he took me through like a breathing thing, like just center and grounding and all this. It was really kind of crazy. I wasn't into this stuff at the time, so I didn't know what the heck was going on. But I'm just like, okay. So he lights this candle, and he shuts off the light, and it's just me and him. He's sitting across the room from me, and he says,
Now close your eyes and just breathe slowly and tell me what you see.
and at first I didn't see anything, but after a couple of minutes of just sitting here and trying to relax, I felt really heavy, and then I felt like the whole room felt hot. And when I say hot, I'm saying like fire hot, right? And I like started sweating, started panicking, and I tried to open my eyes and I couldn't. And so then I'm like really freaking out because I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And in my mind's eye, the room gets engulfed in flames. Okay, now I know it was in my mind's eye because I could still hear my friend and he was calm. But I'm sitting here cross-legged and cannot move my body at all. And I hear this slam come from behind me, and my buddy is totally freaking out about me freaking out, but he's saying,
You're fine, Steve. I promise there's nothing going on. You're fine.
and I'm like, dude, this room is on fire. We need to get out. And I looked, and the window that was behind him, and this is again looked with my eyes closed because I'm like out. I'm in some kind of weird trance or something. I'm just speaking what I'm seeing in my mind. And the window behind him gets shattered, and I see flames shooting out, and there's a little kid on the other side. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I jump up, and I jump up, and I'm still kind of in this trance, but I try to open the door, and it felt like the handle was burning my hand, and I'm trying to turn the knob, and it's like the door was stuck. And so my buddy gets up, and he walks over, and he's like,
Dude, it's okay.
and he opens the door, and the minute he opened the door, it was like a rush of cold, like ice cold, and the whole room was back to normal, but I could still smell smoke. I looked down at the candle. It was burnt from a full brand new candle he had just bought, burnt all the way down to nothing on this plate that we had. So all the wax is just burnt down. And I turn and look, and that thump that I heard was the guardian angel picture had fallen off the wall. And he said that he felt like the room was shaking. And I explained to him what I saw. So that was eerie, that was creepy, that was freaky. It was like I was seeing a picture in time. So a couple of days later, and I still didn't tell my wife about this, a couple of days later, I had the cable guy come and install. And he's like, you mind if I look around? And I said, sure. And so he looks around and he goes, this used to be my grandparents' house. I said, really? He goes, yeah, look here. And he showed me on the front step going up to the house was his initials and his handprint. He goes, that's me. It's funny as he's looking through this room, he's like, yeah, man, this is crazy. I almost burned down this room. And I said, okay, what do you mean? And he goes, when I was little, I was playing with a candle too close to the curtains, and I almost burned this room down. They had to break the window to pull me out. So, that's one of the creepy set of paranormal stories that I have that I've experienced. I don't know if you believe in ghosts. I totally do. I don't know if you believe in paranormal experiences. I totally do. I think everybody lives their own experience. So if you've had similar experiences, or if you want to hear some more of mine, do me a favor, let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this episode of Steveisms with Steven, do me a favor, subscribe, tell your friends about it, give it a like, engage, and the algorithm seems to think you'll like this video right here. So watch it. Thanks. See you next time.